Hey everybody, it's about 2 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday. As everybody's heard, probably, yesterday there was a 5.3 in Colorado, and there was a lower magnitude, I believe 4.6 also that day. And we've also had some 5 activity in Virginia. So let's go take a look. Now, I'll go back out here for a minute. Here's your 5.3 on the 23rd in Colorado. And you had a 2.5 also, and a 2.1. And then you had a 4.6. So we knew all that. And then we've had some other stuff in different areas that are kind of not getting any stuff. But here where I'm at, we had a 2.5 yesterday. I mean the 22nd. And we've also had some mid-range 2s in the last few weeks. So we're in the mix now, apparently. And we'll go over here and show you that even New York had their own little 2.2 before we go over here and look at Virginia. So we're just gonna blow her up all the way because you got a big giant little cluster here. So I have seen most reporting is a 5.8, but I'm showing on most that I'm checking everywhere showing 2. So I'm showing a 5.9, and the main reporters are just showing that 5.8. So more sites that I'm looked at and more different information has showed me 2 of 5.9 and 5.8, and it's like 60-40, something like that. So know that there is at least a 5.8, and they've had other ones too. They've had a 4.2 and a 2.2 and a 3.4 and a, you know, they're getting peppered, but they've had 1 to 2 main ones. Now I haven't heard of any real damage from it. I have heard there is some damage, but nothing of a catastrophic type of a damage. Although we're going to get some issues here in just a few minutes that could lead to something like that. And these are all the other little regions out here, and you can see California, they just get peppered all along here, all throughout here, with 1s and 2s, just regularly bombard right down the line, all the way. Then they get higher, every now and then. This area right here is Nevada, and they had a 3.0 of their own. So there are some areas that you don't really hear about. 1.8 in Washington. You get a 2.5 up here in Montana on the 22nd. So those little ones, you don't really hear about them. Not too much. So this is the main one. We'll go ahead and update everything. And I've already been, and as far as everyone else goes, well, they're kind of just average, so to speak, on what level they're normally getting. You got a 4.9 just near the coast of Yemen, right down in that area. Now in here on the mainland, they've got a 4.8 on Afghanistan, and a 5.1 near the Kashmir, India border. And yesterday on the 22nd, they had a 4.8 in Tajikistan. And then we swing over to Indonesia, and that a couple days ago, off the coast of Sumatra, they had a 5.3, and the 22nd, Indonesia had a 6.0, We were updated on that. And they've had their 4s, a 4.8 today. And we just, and a 5.2 in Papua New Guinea. And then you swing down, and we already know about the 7.1 and 7.0 in Vanuatu. So you're popping 7s right here, recent. And then this is 21st and 22nd in Fiji. They have like a 5.0 and a 4.3. And today, 23rd, 4.6 and a 5. New Zealand is, and it doesn't work down there any farther. And I don't blame them. You go up to Japan, and they had a 5.9 on the 22nd, and they've got 4.6 on the 23rd. Of course, they had the 6 on the, what is that, 6.3 on the 19th. We remember that. And they're in the mid-range 4s, consistent. We swing, keep swinging around, just follow the trail, and you get to the Alaska area. They had a 4.5 on the 22nd. You come on up here, you see they've had some 4 activity, 4 on the 22nd, mainly 3s at this moment. It goes all the way up north, pretty far north, even with the 3.2 way far up there. And then we end up where we started. So, all along, we already know we got a whole bunch of nuclear plants dotting the coastlines and up through New Madrid fault line area. So we're seeing 5.0, almost 6.0 earthquake in Virginia. So they had a little video here. It was on Fox. And we can go ahead and take a look on this one, and we'll watch it together, and we'll listen to what they're going to tell us about this. So here we go.
Nuclear plants on the East Coast have now declared unusual events. That is according to the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. For what that means, former NRC Commissioner Jeff Merrifield joins us now. And Jeff, from what I understand, that's probably the lowest level of concern when things like an earthquake happens and you have questions about how safe these nuclear facilities are.
No, that's exactly right. It really is. It is a point where the plant has had some more minor event that has some reduction in terms of safety, but a very, very low level. Not something that folks should lose sleep over.
Jeff, what do you do when there's an event like this? Is there some shut-off mechanism that happens, at least turning off the most risky elements of a nuclear plant, or do you just kind of put everything on hold?
Well, it depends very much on the plant and the circumstances. I think the one that folks are looking at the most is the North Anna nuclear power plant site in Virginia. At that particular site, they had loss of off-site power. Some of the power lines had an issue. They lost power to the plant. The emergency diesel generators at the plant automatically came on. The plant was automatically shut down. And the plants are designed so that the emergency equipment keeps the fuel inside the reactor and the fuel in the spent fuel pools cool. And that's exactly what should happen.
So you have sort of outside generators making sure that the temperature is kept down?
That's exactly right. They're actually designed to withstand seismic events, earthquakes such as this, and they come on automatically when the plant is shut down in this circumstance to make sure everything stays in a safe condition. Now, for the other plants you spoke of, that's just 2 of the 10. For the remainder, really what the reactor operators are going to do is make sure they keep a close eye on the plant systems. They'll do walk-downs of the plant to make sure all the equipment, the safety equipment, is operating safely, and follow their emergency procedures exactly as designed and required by the Nuclear Regulatory Commission.
All right, I'd like to ask a question on behalf of shareholders, companies like Entergy, Dominion Resources, owners of some of these nuclear power plants. Don't want to put you on the spot because I'm not sure, how much we all know about the financials of these, but in terms of an event like today, how much does something like that cost? And do these companies, set aside capital in the event of these emergencies? And how does that work from the business side of this?
Well, from the event today, I would be hard pressed. I mean, there may be some very minor issues that occurred at the plant. I'd be hard pressed to think that there would be anything meaningful that happened at the plant themselves. There may be, for some of the utilities, some issues associated with power lines that need to be replaced, and those fall within the general parameters of planning that the utility would have in a given year, given the nature of the earthquake and what appears to have been the level of damage along the East Coast.
Jeff?
Well, Jeff Merrifield, former NRC commissioner, just told us that 5.8 to 5.9 earthquake near nuclear facility is something we should not lose any sleep over. I think his statement there really tells us all we need to know. That means, obviously, he's deflecting the seriousness of what this could have been, and hopefully is not going to turn into. But you can read through this article, and you'll find that you come down to a section and it says, in total 10 nuclear plants in 4 states along the East Coast declared, quote, unusual events, unquote, according to the NRC. And, quote, unusual event, unquote, is a technical term used to denote that, quote, something out of the ordinary has happened, unquote, the NRC said. It does not mean that the reactor was actually damaged. The specific plants that have declared an unusual event include the North Anna and Surrey plants in Virginia, the Hope Creek, Oyster Creek, and Salem plants in New Jersey, the Susquehanna, 3 Mile Island, Peach Bottom, and Limerick plants in Pennsylvania, and the Calvert Cliffs nuclear plant in Maryland, according to the NRC. So we've got these plants declaring unusual events, which does not mean that the reactor was actually damaged, but something out of the ordinary has happened. So we've been told they went into precautionary mode, and they're going through all the proper safety shutdown modes and everything. But we've also been told that they did lose power, and that some of the cooling processes are evidently, unless it's come back online, went to backup, powered by generators. So I don't like the thought of that. Well, let's go into here now. This was a week ago on the 16th. Now when we look at these dates and stuff, there are other alignments in there that maybe we didn't hone in on that we should have, and possibly I was too hard on CNN on their report when they gave the date of September 6th. So my apologies to CNN, at least on the idea of other dates, because we may have had a reverberation of all the elements that combine to create quakes or contribute to them. Now a week ago we could see our friend Elenin over here, and then here we are, and we'll go ahead and zoom out as far as we can to where we can see things and they won't disappear. You can see Uranus way out here. You really can't tell what's lined up with the big boys, Uranus, because it's so far away. So you look and see Saturn and Jupiter is pretty far away. I can't really make anything out with them, at least not with this diagram. But we'll come back over here and talk. What was going on, it looks pretty much like, is Venus and the Sun and Mercury were trying to line up, and we were like out here hanging out, and we were trying to stay out of it for the most part. We may have caught the tail end of something, and it maybe looks like Mercury may have moved a little bit, and we were trying to actually get into something, but something a little different maybe got overlooked. So we go to the 17th, and you can see it looks like something here, here, and here, but it looks like we're a little ahead of it. Looks like we're not actually in it maybe. And the farther you go, now the 18th, it looks like we might have had something there. We still may be a little ahead of it and not really be in line with these guys. Now over here it looks like Mercury's moving out to me. So it looked to me earlier like if these three were in line, it was like on the 16th, and we didn't really see anything then. So then we zoom up and move into real time, and the closer we get, what I'm seeing is Mercury is moving more this way, and Venus is lining up more with us as Mercury moves. But before that, Mercury was like more in the way. There's the 21st, and there's the 22nd. And by the 22nd, it looks like Mercury's moved. So you may have seen Earth, Sun, and Venus, and then prior to that, you may have seen some Mercury, Sun, and Venus. And then when it moved out of that, then we caught a piece of something possibly. And it also looks like could possibly still be there, but it looks like Venus is moving more out of it, and we're not catching up with Venus. See, we're still on the left of it, and we're not actually in it. So we knew we had the on the lookout for the CME. We got the solar activity report, and we knew that they were waiting the arrival between the 22nd and the 24th. And here's the middle of it on the 23rd, and we end up getting 5-9, and then I show 2 here on the particular site, 5-8, and then we get 5-3 on the 23rd. So we get 2 to 3, and I think it's 3 really, 5.0s when things look like this. So yeah, we got to give some credence for sure to these alignments, and we know that the sun released, and we know we were going to absorb that. So at the same time this stuff here apparently is lining up like this, we are absorbing what the sun has jetted out. And then the moon, I haven't heard of any high water during all this stuff, so the moon was quiet, and that kept things to a minimum. So this is just a precursor of the other alignments, because we know what they look like. We've already looked at them. So from here on in, apparently we don't get a break. Even things like this, apparently combined with the activity of the sun, and then the forces of Elenin over here, and the Nibiru, and all the stuff that's coming with it. They put a lot of pressure on this whole system that we're in, because they're not supposed to be here, and it's screwing things up. So speaking of Elenin, this is the latest that I have found. I believe I pulled that off of the 11th, possibly. I have to check the date here. I think it said the 11th. Nope. This was obviously August the 6th. So that is what I pulled that off of, and this is off the stereo site. Now they also have this was a nice looking still, and that's why I went ahead and pulled this, just to talk about it and show you. But you just come here and you just scroll down, and then here's all the element stuff from the first, and it'll have a little icon. All of them are movies. That's what it looks like. And then you'll see a little deal that's not a movie, a little icon, and that'll be apparently a still. So you can come here and you can look at there may not be that long of footage, just a brief snippet of footage, but it is actual movie footage that you can come and see. So this was a still photo. Everybody's probably seen it, August 6th. So we're looking at a little over 2 weeks ago of this picture. They have others, and I've looked at another still they've had. And I check in about every couple of days on here and watch their any new little movie deals that they have. Okay, so we've got all that updated on what's going on, and we've heard the ex-commissioner stating that don't lose any sleep over this, but I'm going to lose a little sleep over it because they're nuclear, and as the article stated, there's 10 of them in 4 states declaring unusual events. So this is something to keep a very close eye on. Hey, I can't say it's going to get any better, because we know it looks like what's coming. It probably is not going to get no better. We'll just push it off as long as we can and keep it away as long as we can, and then we'll all deal with it in the due time, however we can. So I'm praying for us. The new Madrid, well, they're dotted all along everywhere. Nuclear plants all everywhere. So this is an area over here. Maybe that's something I didn't mention, but you've got your old portion of the fault line up here near this area, around this region. That's the old portion of it. So it's rumbling, it's grumbling, and then you also have the storm, Hurricane Irene, and that's barreling in here. Gonna bring something. We hope it's not too severe. Maybe it'll peter out and go back out and not tear things up. So I'm gonna let everybody go. I just wanted to show you what, if you didn't know what had happened, what had happened, and we heard a little bit on the TV of some stuffed shirt telling you not to worry about it and don't lose any sleep over it. So that means pay attention in their language. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and close out. And like I was saying, I'm praying for everyone to be strong and to be protected, so that you can be as safe as possible whatever you're doing, wherever you're at, always. And I keep you all in my heart, my thoughts. And with that note, I'll talk to you next time. Probably a couple of days, unless something else occurs. And on that note, I'll get it as quick as I can. So thank everyone for watching, and all your compliments and all the videos you send me that help me with information and thoughts and ideas. I appreciate each and every one of you, and you're all very special. Have a good day tomorrow. Keep looking up.